Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to you Akim and Aquat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. Alright, today's lesson's titled something along the lines of what was it? I have it actually in a picture here. Slovakia. I have it in a picture here. The thumbnail has already been made, so it's called Skin Color, Mothers and Being Mixed, a Stumbling Block for Many. Okay, and over here on the left you can see tares. Alright, and over here on the right you can see wheat. Alright, and you can see they look very, very similar, and they look more similar. And these are just drawings, of course. They look more similar in life, right? Especially when they're in a field. All right, they're hard to differentiate. Okay, so that's what we're touching on today. Now, this is from it's inspired, all through the Spirit, but came about thinking upon it from this lesson by Raleigh La Yasharali. Hawashai is coming back 144,000. This video is called Tares. Okay. Tares. Okay, and we're going to touch on what a tear is. Alright, well, first, we should probably go ahead and just right off the bat touch on what a tear is. Okay, a tear, okay, we can get it right here in Numbers 1 and 18. It says, this is Numbers 1 and 18. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the, no, not this one, Slovakia, here it is. Slovakia. That was a different one. We're starting off differently. Now we're going to grab this again, but we're going to grab it ahead of the time so you can deal with what a tear is, so you can know what a tear is, right? Matthew 13 and 24 through 30. It said, Slovakia. Cough's been being crazy today. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Let's read that again. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. It says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. So while the man was sleeping, an enemy came and put sows among the wheat. Alright. It says, but when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? Did you not plant good seed? Why does it have tares then? And he said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Should we go and get all these tares out of this place, right? In verse 29 it says, but he said, nay, don't do it, right? Lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. It says in verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, then bind them into bundles and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Alright, and again, going up to 24, it says, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Alright, so the wheat, of course, being the Israelites, and the tares being, other heathen nations. Now, why is this being used for heathens and Israelites? Because, again, if you look at, let's go up here and go wheat versus tare. Okay, if you look at them, they look very, 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 very similar. Okay, here you see this. See how close, they look closer when you actually look at them. All right, and it's not just a drawing. All right, you can see here that they look very, very similar. All right, very, very similar. All right, and to the untrained eye, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. All right, so there you go. but they do look very, very similar. We could keep going through pictures all day. They said, well, you can tell the difference between tares and wheat. Yeah, well, I mean, through the spirit, you can get a good idea of who's a tare and who's not as well. All right, but you got to remember that everything goes back to bloodline. Okay, so this isn't a skin color thing. Again, as the title of the lesson is, Salakia, let's not do that. Oh, Salakia, I'll be right back too. Bear with me just one moment. Alright. Slack you for that. Slack you. I'm getting through it. Lord willing. Alright, all through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but this cold definitely is quite annoying. Alright, so hey, continuing on. Ooh. Continuing on. So, as the title of the lesson said, because it's not a skin color thing. So, skin color, mothers, and being mixed, a stumbling block for many. We're just gonna leave that up, as a matter of fact. So, in case we need it again. So, skin color isn't always definitive, man. All right, you might be a so-called, not so-called, but you might be a white-looking person that actually goes back to Israel, such as myself, or you could be a brown-skinned person that actually goes back to Esau, Edom, all right, or any of the other nations, all right. it's not, there's any number of mixes that it could be. All right, you could be you could look like a Judite, but you could actually go back to Elam or Magog, or you could end up being, you could even be Moab, all right, or Ammon. Okay, you could be any of them. Okay, it's not about how you look. All right, it doesn't matter if you could be a huge, 6'5", huge muscle, talks with a deep ass voice. All right, so-called black guy, and guess what? You end up you go back to Moab. Okay, so hey, you get because, and the reason this is because we were scattered abroad. Okay, we were scattered abroad. So when we're scattered abroad, you're gonna get down with those nations. All right, you're gonna do the 1-2 with those nations. All right, and after a while, okay, if you got a Jake man, you put him over in a place such as China. All right, he gets with a Chinese woman. All right, and that kid, he grows up, and now he looks like, not as dark as he was. All right, his dad was dark skinned, but the mom was Asian. All right, light skinned Asian. All right, and now he's lighter. All right, and then he gets with an Asian woman over there. Okay, because that's who's over there primarily. And then that kid comes out, extremely light. And that kid does the same thing. And that kid, it looks like a regular old a Chinese boy. But guess what? Through the seed line of the fathers, that boy is a Jake. Okay, he is a Jake, because it's not about skin color. It's about your seed line. All right. And it's not always definitive when you look back through your genealogy and your history as well, because sometimes it gets messed up. You can't go and do an Ancestry.com test. That's not going to tell you you're Israelite. Okay? Some of us might not know our real fathers, or however it goes, or our real grandparents. All right? Might not be able to trace it back exactly. But if you're in this truth, all right? If you're in this truth and and you can understand it and you're getting it, more than likely an Israelite, all right, and especially if you're teaching this truth, all right, out of the Bible the way it is, as the elders and apostles do, the apostles and elders do, how it was taught to you, all right, and you're teaching it, then guess what? You're an Israelite, because ain't no heathen going to be teaching the truth, all right. A heathen is not going to be teaching the truth, Alright, as this bug out. Alright, and I got the definitive proof on this guy because I've said things about him before, but there's this bug out on this comment board. He's a bug out, and that's exactly what he is. But let's get to the video. Here's the video, because this lady thinks she's a so-called black person, right? This is a comment. The comment says, "Girl, you is white and delusional as fuck." Alright, let's go ahead and play the video. Because she really thinks she's black, but she's not.
Y'all are so weird.
Let me go ahead and actually pause the music in the background, because this video is quite low. Here you go.
Y'all are so weird. Anyways, here's my beautiful mother. She is black.
Not your father, though.
Here are my beautiful grandparents. That's my grand-grand, and that's my papa.
So that's her dad's dad. She didn't show her dad, though.
Here's a picture of them when they were younger. They actually had to travel to a different state to be married because of segregation laws. So they have defied all odds and have been married for 50 plus years. That's my Aunt Jill, my mom's sister, and that's my great grandma.
None of these women matter right now because the seed line doesn't carry through women.
My nanny and my great grandpa, so my great grandparents, on their wedding day. Literally, this is my favorite picture ever. Whenever I go to my grandma's house, I just stare at it.
You're not related to any of those
Love
men.
it. The vibes are immaculate. That's my great grandma in the corner there. That's my Uncle Earl. That's their siblings, and then that's my great-great-grandpa sitting there in the middle.
Not related to
you.
you.
Look like such a stud. And this picture is so cute. That's my cousin Terry and cousin Mark at the very top, and my Uncle Earl and Aunt Liz. They've passed away. I miss them so much. And then my little cousin Mark, he's down there. He's also...
You can just tell this lady's a terror just by the way she is, too.
Yeah, I think that we need to move past the speaking on other people's races. Not every black looks the same, and no, I am not fully black. I said I was mixed.
You're not even mixed.
But yeah, I'm sick of those comments because I grew up with a complete side of my family that is black, and I grew up in black culture, and you know, I grew up my whole life around a black family. So I just think it's really fucking ridiculous and rude as fuck. Also, I think everyone needs to fucking relax. It is just a celebrity crush. I've never met Jalen Hurts in my life. His girlfriend is beautiful. It's really not that deep.
And you can just tell by the way she is that's just an Edomite. That's just an Edomite, or maybe some other nation, but it's not a Jake. Not a Jake. All right, so let me get back here.
Yeah.
So, and because you can tell, there's some white-looking girls that you can just tell. You're like, hey, they might be a Jake. All right, you can almost tell. Sometimes there's sometimes people you meet in public, or you talk to them like, damn, that guy might be a Jake. And here it is, this white-looking dude, all right, or this Asian-looking person. I've seen it personally, all right, with some Asians, all right. They might be a Jake. For example, one of the examples, all those Jake that started the drifting. Check this out. I'm gonna stop for a minute. Check this out. This stuff right here, ain't no heathen created this. All right, look at the cars, the whole stop. Check it out. Jake loves cars. All right, but you look at these dudes that do this, and you'd say, oh, those are just some Ammonites. All right, but the guys that started a lot of these guys are probably Jakes. More than likely. Alright, and the guys that started it, probably more than likely Jakes, for sure. Look at this. Street racing and all that shit. Come on now. Jake loves all that stuff. But you would think, oh, these are just some Asians. You'd be very, very surprised. A lot of those guys more than likely Jake. More than likely Jake. Okay. This guy right here, you never know. This guy might be a Jake. Kaichi Tsuchiya, if I'm pronouncing that right. You look at him, it looks like Asian. You never know. This guy could be a Jake. I don't know too much about this guy personally, but you never know. You just never know. This guy, I'm saying this guy could be a Jake. You never know, man. Alright. And of course, you're going to have some non-Jakes that do it as well, but I'm talking about like the OGs that started it. It's probably a lot of Jake, because there's a lot of heathens that's probably do drifting now. You got those Arabic people that drift, and some of those guys, who knows? Some of those guys be Jake too. You never know. You never know. All right, so you just gotta weigh it through the spirit. Now it goes back to your father, but even through then, it's not always definitive. You really just gotta try them by their spirit, right? See how they are, how they act. Do they have sauce? Do they not have sauce? All right, because there's some Jakes. Not Jakes, Salakia. There's some people that I thought would be Jakes, but I talked to them, I'm like, ugh, the fuck's up with this? Something's weird with him. It ain't that you just don't like him, and it just something feels off. You know, something just feels off. Like they're weird. You're like, I think this guy might be a tear, or this guy might just be ham. And this guy might just go back to ham. And I've had that happen before. There's some people that I met, and I said, man, this guy's got to be a Hamite. And there's other people that don't act like Jake, really, but I say, okay, that's just a lost Jake. Okay, you know, they might be slow or be a little weird. So I'm like, okay, they're a Jake, right? Because it'll slip through. The sauce will slip through. But they're just a little weird. But the sauce will slip through, and then you can tell when there's no sauce. There's no salt. There's no sauce. No Jake. All right, let's get some of these comments. Grab a drink. Now, GMS Pagemaster said, scary judgment for tears, still going into slavery. Still going into slavery, yeah. Yep, but guess what? When they're going into slavery, they're not going to be the same color. All right? They're not going to be the same color. Just as, you know, us, you know, Israelites that look like, you know, other heathen nations. All right? I myself look like a so-called white person. Okay? We're not going to be in the kingdom, all right, looking like a so-called white person. We're going to have our skin color changed back. And these people, they're going to have their skin color changed back too. And they're going to be ugly as you know what. All right? This person says, don't matter about her mom's race. Her granddad is white, so she is Edom. More than likely, yeah. Now, we know we can't always go off of skin color, but when it goes back like that, you know, more than likely, all right, you'd have to try them. This lady more than likely an Edomite, though. All right, like we got, so skin color can be used on occasion, but it's not about skin color. This isn't a skin color thing. It's not a defining factor, right? Now, when you see a so-called black person, all right, a lot of the time they are Jake. When you see a so-called white person, a lot of the time they are Edomites. But it's not really about skin color. It's not the defining factor, because that person might look like a so-called black person, but they might actually just be a tear. And that so-called white person, that white-looking person, might just be a Jake. So it can be used sometimes. It's not really how you go off of it. All right, it's not something that's definitive. That's why we say just throw it out. Okay, because there's no way to be. You can't just look at someone and say, "Yep, that's 100%." All right, more than likely, maybe, but you can't have 100%. You gotta try them. All right, you gotta try them. It says, this is GMS Spiritual Army of 144,000 BA. Notice she didn't show not one image of her actual father, nor mentioned or showed any of his side of the daily Edom. Alright? Yep. So, through, GMS Facts Work 144 says through. Alright, we got, yeah, Martin Caldwell says, but yet you are the seed of your father no matter what color you come out. All right, it doesn't matter if you're white as white. It doesn't matter if you're as brown as brown. All right, or I should say red is red and as brown as brown. All right, it doesn't matter. All right, at the end of the day, because like I said, it can be used sometimes. You can look at the person and say, okay, this guy, you know, but it's all about their actions, how they hold themselves. All right, it's not 100% defining factor just looking at skin color. You can't go at skin color and say, yep, he's white, he's an Edomite for sure. All right, and so you can't go off of that all the time. Got it? You gotta, and this guy says it. This brother says it. GMS Samak Ya'ala Hopeful 144. Her white, in parentheses, father's lineage could still go back to Jacob. She better hope that. Alright? And he says it. That's why we said skin color isn't always defined. Now, this lady could be a tear. Alright? Or she could be a Jake. Now, I think she could be. I think she's probably more than likely a tear. Just by the way she acts. Alright? She seems very, she has that Edomite girl mode on her. But she could be a lost-ass Jake, too. She could just be a lost-ass Jake. But for hanging around all these Jake people, she sure, acts, overwhelmingly Edomite-ish.
That's my great-grandma in the corner there.
Oh, I don't know. So who knows? She could, but she could. So, it says, this is the confusion mixing brings on. You think you something you not. And that's true. Alright, she thinks she might be black, but unless her father goes back to Jake, then no, she's just the Edomite. Okay? Yawana says looks like her great grandmother got salvation coming and not her. That's terrible. And if she goes back to Esau, that's true. That's true. But hey, this says she is from the seed of Esau. Her father, and she sounds like Esau seed. Now that's Lorna Edwards. I shouldn't have even read that. That's a woman. She shouldn't even be a comment in the first place. But still, this guy, he's bug out. This 144,000. This guy's a bug out. It says her grandfather is a Southern Kingdom, but nobody. There was comments on here. Where did they go? Bear with me. There they are. It says, yeah, here we go. All the comments, see, all the replies were missing. So going back up, we got to go back up now. It says, GMS Samak Ya'ala Hopeful 144. What he said was her white father's lineage could still go back to Jacob. She better hope that. And then I'm not sure about this, but it says Kabar Yakal 144 says Khan. That's a possibility in certain cases. The most famous example is Bob Marley. And then he says, laugh my ass off, Khan, knock you. So Bob Marley, all right, more, you can just look at Bob Marley. The guy's a Jake. All right, all the songs he's got flavor, right? So, but I guess if you look at, let's see, if we go Bob Marley, father. Yeah, so it's a white guy. So, he'd be considered what the world would call mixed. All right, and he had a black mother. All right, now Bob Marley, with the amount of inspiration that he had, around him, with pushing that reggae music out. All right, making it way more popular than it ever was. All right, that's something only a Jake could do. Okay, so that Norval guy, the dad right there, this guy looks like straight up Edomite. All right, but if that's the case, hey, he would be a Jake. He would be a Jake. There you go. Now here's this bug out. Her grandfather is a Southern Kingdom nobody, but Jake would risk his life for Eve. I don't even know what he's trying to say here. But not important, especially when Akim and the camps could be tares themselves. If you're in a camp, all right, teaching this truth, okay, you're not a tear. That's just fucking dumb. This guy's a bug out, all right. And I've been watching some of the stuff he said. This guy is he's bug out, all right. Edifying videos for the 144,000. Doing my job for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Where's the work? Where's your job? What are you doing? You don't even have no playlist. This page is bone dry, man. So no, this guy's a bug out. All right, so watch out for him if he's on your comment boards. This 144,000 guy, I've been seeing him a lot of comments. I think I've put him in one of my lessons before. This guy's a bug out. Okay, this guy is a bug out. And you got GMS Chicago, St. Benji too. Just did a face palm. And so did 10 other people. And then the bug out commented, I know, right? This isn't a skin color thing. There's many so-called white people whose line goes back to Jacob Malcolm. And GMS Chicago commented back, said, I was shaking my head at you saying it's tears in the camp. He says, oh no, Ak. I never said camp. I stated camps. I wasn't specifically saying a particular camp. Salakia. That's not the point, man. That's not the point. It's that if you're teaching this truth, all right, white people are the devil, and especially if you're using the name Yahweh Shem Shai. If you're calling upon the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, you're not a heathen, man. Okay, no heathen's gonna call on the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. The name strikes fear into the heathen, right? They're not gonna call on a name that strikes fear into them. All right, they might say it, but they're not gonna be praying and calling upon the name. So a lot of you, Jake just bugged out. A lot of you, but so there's a lot of stuff behind this whole, skin color thing and lineage. So you just gotta, we just gotta get right into it. All right. So we read about Terah. So there's gonna be people, all right, that look like Jake that aren't Jake, and then there's gonna be people that look like Esau, or heathens that aren't heathens or Esau. All right. So, and it all goes back to the father. All right. It doesn't matter. And that's the other thing. And mother, that's why, like the title of the lesson, skin color, mothers, and being mixed, a stumbling block for many. Because why are mothers going to be a stumbling? Well, my mother's black. My mother's black. Doesn't matter what color your mother is. Your mother could be green for all we care. Okay. Not that there's no green people. All right. But it doesn't matter. Okay, because it's by the seed line of your father. All right. So Numbers 1 and 18. Let me get a drink. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees. Let's look up what pedigree means. We've done this all before, but we're bringing it out again. Pedigree. Definition. Our internet just decided to cut. There we go.
Pedigree.
So they use it in so here we go. Number 2, the recorded ancestry, especially upper class ancestry of a person or family. And especially, this isn't upper class ancestry. This is a royal priesthood, a lineage of royalty. Right? So their ancestry, descent. All right, their race. All right. After what? Their fathers. They declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So guess what? Your father was Judah, you're Judah. All right. Your father was Issachar, you're Issachar. All right. Your father was Gad, you're Gad. All right, and on the opposite side of the spectrum, guess what? Your father was Esau, you're Esau. Your father was Ammon, you're Ammon. Your father was Ishmael, you're Ishmael, right? That's how it goes, man. It's not about if your mom or your mother or my great-grandmother. No, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. All right, it's from your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, right? That's how it goes, all right? And we can see this through the genealogy and the generations of Adam, right? And then also, down through, Yahushai's lineage as well, through who he went back to, all right? And it was always by men. And we'll show it here with Genesis chapter 5. It says, this is the book of the generations of Adam, in the day that the Most High created man, in the likeness of the Most High made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, on the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. There you go. So he begat a son named Seth. He begat a Seth. He begat a son, and his name was Seth. Adam begat a son, and his name was Seth. All right. Didn't say Eve. All right. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. It mentioned that he had daughters. Well, let's continue on. It says, all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. Alright, and Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalaleel. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years and begat Jared. And Jared lived 162 years and begat Enoch. And Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. Alright, so there you go. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. Alright, let's see who this is. Oh, where he, see, so you can look it up and it's gonna go men. Why is it always men? Alright, men. Why is it always men? Okay, we'll continue all the way down to the bottom. Alright, it says, and Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son. And he called his name Noah. Alright? He called his name Noah. So there you go. It says, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. It says, and Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem. This is where the Israelites come, right? The Shemites, Ham, and Japhet. Okay, well, Ham being, the Hamites, and Japhet being Japhet. All right, but Shem going back to the line of Israel. So, hey, it was men, all the way down. All right, and if you go look down through the line of Shem, all right, if you continue any generation of men, all right, any generations of there's Adam. All right, it's gonna be men. Why? Because men carry the seed. All right, men carry the seed. All right, they declared their pedigrees after their fathers. All right, not their mothers. So it doesn't matter if your mother's a Jake. All right, it doesn't matter if you're an Ammonite. All right, and your mother's a Jake. What good does that do you? All right, because if your father's Ammon, then you're Ammon. Doesn't matter if your Ammonite father got with a Jake mother. All right, she could be the Jakest Jake on the planet. It don't matter. All right, because you'd still be an Ammonite. All right, because your father's an Ammonite. If your father's a Jake, you're a Jake. If your father's a heathen, you're a heathen. If your mother's a heathen and you have a Jake father, you're a Jake. If your mother's a Jake and you have a Jake father, you're a Jake. If your father's a heathen and your mother's a Jake, you're a heathen. Okay, you got it? You got it? You get it? Okay? So, if you have a father and they're an Ammonite and your mother's an Israelite, you're still an Ammonite. Okay? You're not half Ammonite, half Jake. That's or whatever the hell. All right, that's why there's no such thing as mixed. There's no such thing as mixed. Okay? I think street teacher always says, what one half of your body is going to be you're relaxing and the other half's going to be doing hard work. How does that work? How are you going to be mixed? Doesn't make any sense. Okay? So, this is John 7:24. All right, and it reads, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Okay, now that I got this from a brother off the comment board, actually, let's go and get that. Or was it? Let's see. It was in here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. The GMS Gospel of Good News. He was the one who put up John 7:24. So we're going to grab that. Wanted to give credit where credit's due. Alright, so John 7:24. Judge not according, this is red letter, so it's Yahweh Shai speaking. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Okay, Okay? So not according to appearance. Doesn't matter how white they look or how brown they look or how yellow they look. It doesn't really matter, all right? Because you have to judge righteous judgment. You have to judge, you have to, try them of their spirits, all right? You have to see, okay, how is this person moving? All right, how does it work? Because, you just have, I can't give you the definitive, there's not a book out there how to tell, if it's a Tara or a Jake. There's not a book. All right, you'll just know it. You'll just know. You'll be able to talk to them and be like, okay, all right, because you can't go off of just not getting the truth, because there's a lot of Jake that don't know this truth, okay, that refuse to get this truth, okay. But if they don't have no sauce, they're a little weird. They talk off, and then there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of things you have to weigh, and you can only do it by knowing this word, knowing this truth, knowing how Jake is, knowing that Jake's the salt of the earth. And then, coming in contact with a tear. All right? For example, when you talk to Ham, when Ham's, you know what it's a Hamite, regardless, as opposed to a Jake, don't you? They're like, this guy's a fucking Hamite. You can just tell. All right? You can just tell. Like, here, let's see. Here we go. Now, do you think this is Jake? Do you think this is Jake? Because this ain't Jake. Alright. This ain't Jake. That is Ham. No sauce, no flavor, just weird. You can tell they ain't a lost Jake either. They're just weird. They're just a heathen. And you can look in the comments. He was kind of straight into that part where he was kneeling on the ground. Laugh my ass off. The heathen characteristics don't take long to reveal itself. Look at all. It's GMS. So these they're not just some weirdos on the comp board. GMS. All right, Ham, GMS, Awalam Awar. The heathen want to be Jake so bad, but they can't. The flavor ain't there. It's true. That salt, that flavor, it ain't there. That's how you can tell, man. You got it's lucky my nose messing with me again. Bear with me. I'll be right back. Slovakia. Alright. Slovakia. So the flavor ain't there, man. You can just see. Now this is Zakariala, Remnant Seeker BA in Slovakia, if I pronounced that wrong. Ham need to sit down somewhere. We got GMS Maccabean Spirit. Nah, even his walk was off. That's a Hamite. Rhythmless, saltless Hamite. Okay. GMS fight into the ends. 144 says LMAO. That's some ham and bacon. Israelite Arbiter says Hammy Davis Jr. Ham and cheese sandwich, man. This person, they say, Ayin Yahweh Wa Yahweh says, I want to say Jake because he absorbed the hip-hop culture like a mofo. Hip-hop is up there in numbers when it comes to the cause of death for Jake. Now, yeah, I get it, but you also got to realize Edomites have absorbed the hip-hop, culture. He said curse. All right, he absorbed the hip-hop curse like a mofo. We got to realize that a lot of Edomites have as well. All right, you have white-looking rappers that are Jake, like Eminem. And then you have white-looking rappers that are just Edomites, like MGK. MGK is just Edomite, man. That's just, So, ham sandwich, and go ham on them. Ham, 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 ham. So everyone's saying ham. You guys, I just look at the guy, dude. Just weirdo. Just a weirdo, man. Just embarrassing, really. So you'll know, all right. Just the same way you'll know, you could tell that guy was no Jake. You'll be able to tell that these tears, they're like, that ain't no Jake. Something's up. Something's wrong. All right. It's the same way when you like beat into you bite into like a, I don't know, how can I explain it? Like different between margarine and butter. You just know. You just know. There's like a difference between sugar and stevia, man. You just know. All right, stevia is better for you, but you can tell the difference, can you not? All right, you can tell the difference. It's night and day, man. You can just tell the difference. Okay, that's why you have the brother saying that guy might just be a tear, man. That guy might just be a tear. Okay, so John 7:24. But we can't judge according to appearance, all right? You can judge by the way they act, the way they move, all right? Do they have salt? Do they not have salt, all right? But not necessarily according to the appearance, all right? Because appearance is not a defining factor. John 7:24, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. There you go. All right. Well, will the Lord get him confused? The Lord won't get him confused. The Lord knows exactly who the tares are and who the wheat is. Alright. 1 Samuel 16:7 reads, But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. And when this part's what we're grabbing the scripture for. Showing the Lord doesn't see like men, right? It says, For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So the Lord can tell. It's the same way, and this can be fit. This can fit for a lot of things. You might have those guys that are dressing up in fringes and acting, like they love the Lord. But again, all right, man looks on the outward appearance, all right, but the Lord doesn't. The Lord looketh on the heart, as it says. Okay, so someone's, look at that guy. He's wearing fringes. He goes to camp. He must, but really, that guy really, hates everything about it. All right, it turns out, he just goes home and smokes weed, or does whatever he does, commits adultery. All right, there's been examples. All right, that camps have brought out. All right, now they're not for me to tell, because I'm not a part of GMS. Now I follow after their apostles and their elders and the brothers. All right, their teachings. All right, the true teachings of the Bible, because they're one of the only ones doing it. All right, but again, I'm not in the camp, so I'm not gonna touch on those matters. But they've mentioned people in the camp. All right, once people of a camp. All right, that and again, it's same with that. They could tell that something was a little weird, but it revealed itself in time. Okay, so but they'd show up to the camp and wear the garment and teach. But guess what? Something just But the Lord knew all along. Right? Same with the tares. Same with the wheat. The Lord knows. All right. He doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're a white-looking Israelite or a Asian-looking Israelite. All right. The Lord knows you're an Israelite. All right. Just as well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a Judite-looking Edomite or a Issachar-looking Moabite. All right. Or a Ephraim-looking Hamite. Right. It doesn't matter, all right, because you're at the end of the day, you're still heathen. Okay, it doesn't matter who you look like. You could just look just like a so-called Cuban. Doesn't matter. You could look just like a so-called Mexican. Doesn't matter. You could look just like a so-called black person. Doesn't matter. You look just like a so-called Native American. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because guess what? You go back to a heathen lineage, a heathen bloodline. Okay. So and that can be the case even if your father looks like a so-called black. Well, my father, he's a so-called black person. Well, guess what? You go back further, all right. Now you might not be able to go back through pictures or however it is, but guess what? I bet there's a cracker in there somewhere. Okay, if you're acting, you can just, So it's skin color, not a defining factor. Well, you see, actually, my father, he's a black man. Look at him. Well, what about his father? Well, his father was a black man. What about his father? Well, his father, was a white man, but still, hey, you might want to look into that. That's why you were acting so weird. Not because of the skin color, not because of his skin's color, but here you are, you're acting weird. You seem a little like, not like a Jake already, and now all of a sudden there's a white person popping up in your in your background, in your lineage. You might want to think about that. All right, now skin color isn't always a thing, but hey, in a case like that, that could be something like, hey, okay, hey, makes a little sense. Makes a little sense. So hey, there you go. So this is and the reason, and we got these. We should have grabbed this early, but this is Deuteronomy 4:27, showing you that when we were talking about if you have that little Asian boy, all right, and he gets with a little Asian girl, all right, but his dad was a Jake. Guess what? That little Asian boy and that little Asian girl get together, and guess what? They have a little Jake baby. All right, little Asian Jake baby. They're not, they look Asian. They speak the Asian language of wherever they're at. All right, Chinese or Japanese or Vietnamese, wherever they're at. All right, or Korean. Okay, so on and so forth. All right, they're speaking these things. They look like these things. They're eating all the weirdo shit. All right, crab and cockroach or whatever type of weird bugs and shit. But guess what? They actually go back to the lineage of Jake. And you wouldn't even be able to tell just by looking at him. You'd walk right by him and say, this guy's an Edomite. Or not an Edomite. You're like, this guy's a Ammonite. This guy's a heathen. He's a Moabite. Alright? Look at this guy. Yeah, for sure. But, hey, you don't know. You can't always judge like that. Alright? You can't always judge like that. Okay? So, you gotta realize there's a white-looking brothers in the GMS camps, man. Okay? And you think, these other camps, they've let the heathen in. So what? So heathen can teach the word of the Lord now, and just call on the name of the Lord. They can just do that now? No, they can't, man. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, but like we had to explain that again, because hey, if you're in those other lands, you're gonna be getting down with women of those other lands, right? Jake likes to get down. They like to get down. Deuteronomy 4:27, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations. This is in the curses, right? And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. So you're going to be amongst heathens. Guess what? And those heathens love them some big old Jake men. Alright? And guess what? Jake men just love women in general. So they're going to get down. Alright? And then you're going to have an Asian looking baby. And that Asian looking baby's going to have another Asian looking baby. And that Asian baby's going to have another little Asian looking baby. And then it's be straight up Asian looking baby, but guess what? They ain't Asian. Alright, they actually go back to Jake. So hey, that's the that's how it goes, man. Same for people such as I myself or any other brother or sister that might be white looking or Asian looking. Alright? Israelites are all shapes, sizes, and colors. Alright? It's not about what you look like or how tall you are or how skinny you are. Alright, we look like all nations. We're scattered amongst all nations, so we're going to look like all nations. Alright, this is Jeremiah 12:9. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. Alright, let's get speckled bird. And see how many colors are in this bird. There's a specific bird that I like. This is the bird I like. Alright. I think this is the one at least, if it would load. Okay, so over here you got look, purplish. You got dark, almost like a turquoise-ish, aquish, greenish. Alright, you got yellowish orange in there and golden colors. Alright, you got part on the bill, alright, or the beak, you got oranges and dark purple. Alright, you got darkish, I think we already said it, but dark purple with darker, midnight blues. Down here you get more into the burnt brownish colors in the feathers, a little bit of the ruddy colors. You can see a little bit of the ruddy brown in there. All right, you got more blue, dark blue. All right, and then you got brown, a little bit of black in here, and a little bit of lighter yellow and cream colors. That's a lot. That's a lot of different colors, man. That's a lot of different colors. So that's not just a lot of you people just over here, you think this is Israel. You think this is Israel, just black. Here, let it load. I guess it's not gonna load, but we can go over here. You can see the shininess on it, but you know, this is Israel, black, just black. That's BOI right there, all right? These black only Israelites, this is them. This is them. This is what they think Israel looks like. All right, black. They're so stuck up in blackness that even so-called Mexicans can't even be Jakes. Okay, that's ridiculous. All right, so that's not what Israel looks like. Okay, this is how Israel is. Multiple different colors, multiple different shapes, multiple different sizes. Right. So hey, that's how it is, man. So hey, you know, with that, or you can get this one. This is more like skin colors that you'll see in humans. All right, reddish. All right, pale, not white, because you know we have nobody walking around that color. You know, like, but white, because people in the world say white, but white, reddish. All right, dark brown, ruddy. Right, regular brown, medium brown. All right. So hey, there you go. So people are gonna look like all shapes, size, and colors. You can't always judge off of skin color. You have to go through lineage. There might be some, tares and wheat look very similar, all right, but they can still be judged apart. But it's not gonna be off of skin color, okay? Not all the time, okay? Now, if you see a group of white people that go white all through the lineage, yeah, more than likely might be some Edomites, but you'd have to talk to them to see. All right, because some of you'd be mistaken. You might talk to them. It turns out, hey, they're some of the coolest, down to earth, and they stand there and they understand everything you're saying. Wow, well, the name's Yahweh Shai. All right, yeah, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I'll have to look into that. All right, and hey, you know, that guy might have a son, and he might end up showing up at one of the camps and teaching that at a camp. All right, because it turns out that seed line ends up going to Jake. So we can say more than likely, hey, that might be the case, but again, at the same time, it's not defining. So what's the point? All right. So you must go off of how their spirit flows. All right, if they got the sauce or not. Okay, now like I said, if you got a group of white people and they're completely sauceless, so, you know, and yeah, you know, more than likely Edomites. Okay, but not always the case though. Not always the case. If that's a group of so-called looking white people and they play ball really well, and you know one of their sons is a rapper, and they're over here and you know they're dating Jake women. They say, yeah, Jake women, the prettiest woman, you know, and they're getting all this sauce, and you know they got football, and he's excelled, and like, you got to think, might be Jake, might just be Jake. A lot of sauce coming out of that family, might just be Jake, might be a Jake family. You never know. So again, can't go off skin color all the time. All right, you got to make sure you're going off of their spirit. Okay, so that's been the lesson titled "Skin Color, Mothers, and Being Mixed," a stumbling block for many. All right, a stumbling block for many. All right, so with that, we're gonna close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Badash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.